Hello, my friends. Dr. H here. How's everybody doing today? And today's topic of the day is going to be failure. This week, we're talking briefly with a couple of my colleagues about failure, how does it make you feel, what is it all about? And, failure isn't your tombstone, it's your chisel. I actually made that one of those quotes earlier throughout the day, but I'm going to take a couple of minutes and talk a little bit about failure itself, right? We're so, we're taught to fear failure and just he's like, oh my God, this is over. We're done, depending whether you're in life, business, in anything you're going to do, right? But what if I told you that failure itself is probably one of the most powerful tools that you have because it's going to let you know, hey, you know what? This is what happened. I'm not really ready to get, done with everything. So we're just going to talk a little bit about it. I'm going to go over 5 things that you can do to identify failure and some of the things you can do in your personal, your business, friends, coworkers, with anybody you can apply these to. Okay. So the first thing I talk about is failure is data. It's not your identity. It does not define who you are just because you failed in something. Okay. And I'm kind of want to make it very clear. People feel like, oh my God, I'm failing. It's gonna make them a bad individual, but in actuality, it is not. Okay, remember, think about this. Failure is just data. It does not identify or reflect who you are as an individual. If you miss something, don't worry about it. We're going to keep on moving. If you forgot to do something, let's identify it, understand, but we're going to keep on moving forward. And I wrote something down here. What does that reveal? Right? Does that mean that I do not know what to do? I'm unorganized. I'm not structured. I'm not this. No, it just means that, hey, it happened and we're going to move forward. It's all about identifying, yes, I made a mistake, well, this didn't work, and we're going to move forward. No difference than for myself, from one of my business, in one of my workshops, 30 people signed up, nobody showed up. So it was a failure, but we move forward, we learn from it. So failure is data, it's not the identity, it does not identify who you are. Okay. The second one is adopt a growth mindset. That should be like your secret weapon. How you think up here, it's like, okay, I failed it. Okay, you know what? You might think to yourself, oh, I failed. I'm not good at what I'm doing. I'm not good enough. Change the way you think because the moment you think differently and how you perceive failure is going to allow for you to move forward. And I wrote two things here, the same things, the fixed mind growth and the growth mindset. I failed because I'm not good enough. And the growth mindset perspective, it is I haven't mastered it. Keyword is yet, not yet. It's coming, it's in the works, it's in progress to be determined, all that good stuff. Failure isn't proof of your limits, it is your road map to growth. Let me repeat that. Failure isn't proof of your limits, it is your roadmap to growth. I wrote it down because I wanted to make sure. So think about it. Everything that we're going to do is going to be based on how we think. Okay, whether in business, whether in personal, in a relationship, in a family, in a friendship, the way you think is going to be a very indication of how you're going to perceive everything. And failure is just one of those things that are just added into the whole mix. Okay. The third one, conduct a post-mortem without the mourning. What does that mean, right? It sounds like really dramatic, right? So what that means basically is mine the gold in every setback, gain something from every single thing that went wrong in what you were doing, and don't dwell too much on it. I wrote this thing down here. What assumptions were wrong? What worked? What needed reshaping? No failure is wasted if you extract its lessons. There you go. No failure without lessons. You learn something from that. So don't spend too much time in that dark room where you're like, what happened? What am I doing? What should I be doing? Or I'm just nobody. It just, bring yourself down, depress yourself down. And for what? It happened, identify it, talk about it, and then you can move forward. That's what the whole conducting the postmortem. Don't stay too much there, like, oh my God, this is gonna happen. What am I gonna do? We're just gonna keep on moving forward. I always tell a lot of my clients, write 3 things that you can do better next time on your mindset. And I challenge you, what are the 3 things you can do to change how you think, or what is your perception of failure in anything that you're going to do. Number four, we're going to build resilience to self-compassion. What does it really mean? Acknowledge it. Hey, it happens. We're going to roll with it and we're going to move forward. Simple as that. Because does failure really hurt or sting a little bit? The answer is yes. Okay. It affects people differently depending on where you're at in your business, in your family, in your personal, your friends, colleagues. For everybody's differently. Okay. Resilience isn't tough it out. It honoring your frustration while refusing to let it freeze you. Exactly. It's not going to allow you to, oh my God, what am I going to do? I'm going to stay stagnant. I'm just going to stay right here. And I need to move forward. Okay. So what is that? Where's the resilience to the self compassion come from? Hey, it sucked. We failed. We didn't do very well. We're gonna move forward. Okay. We don't want to spend too much time here because for this specific section, it can lead to lose motivation. You're gonna get depressed. You're gonna overthink it. You're gonna start thinking about different things you should have done. Now it's gonna be more refreshing yourself. Now the emotions are gonna start hitting you kind of differently. So just understand that, see it, acknowledge it, happened, and we're gonna move forward. Okay. And the fifth one is obsessed with the process, not the outcome. You know, I encourage everybody to just obsess with the whole process. It's as difficult as it is, the reward is going to be huge. And I wrote this down. Fall in love with the climb, fall in love with the process. Okay. When you fixate only on the summit, every stumble feels catastrophic, but the process is where mastery lives. That means the more you obsess on what you're going to do, even though you failed, we're going to try again. I'll give you a perfect example. I did a workshop. I get there, microphone's not working, TV's not working, nothing is working. So what do? I wanted to shift to plan B, which I always have a plan B. I just went off my paperwork. You have to be able because I was prepared for what I had to do. I did not let it. Oh my God, it's gonna. I'm so freaking out. The presentation one as well, and everybody we learned something. But what I want to get to everyone is when you obsess with the process, everything else becomes very natural to you. And even if you do stumble, and even if you do fail, even if it all goes to crap, you still have something in place because you are obsessed with what you're trying to do. Break big goals into micro wins. Track progress, not perfection. Remember, track the progress, not the perfection. The perfection is going to follow once you master the process. Okay. So let me give you one takeaway that I wrote here, and I want to just share with everybody as we wrap up this short this short talk. Failure isn't the burial of your purpose. It is the sculptor's hand carving you into a person capable of achieving it. All right. So hey, my thing to you is how has failure reshaped your path? You can respond back to this page, or should over here. You can go to my page. You can make a comment in there. So I encourage you to talk about your friends, share with anybody who wants about as far as failure, but don't get obsessed with it. It happens, and we're going to move forward. I really appreciate everybody's time. Thank you, and we'll see you next week.